How?
From our sins.
How?
Pay the price.
How? How did he pay? How did he? So by dying for you, right? In other words, by spilling blood, which is exactly what I'm telling you. You see, that is the difference between Islam and Christianity. In Islam, God doesn't need nobody's blood.
That's why we can don't go night here.
Yeah, but I'm trying to tell you that Jesus himself, you know, when Jesus was preaching to people, did he say the only way you can be saved is by my blood? He never said that.
Why are
Jesus
most of
never
the
said that.
terrorists Muslims? Why are most of the terrorists Muslims?
Who said most of terrorists? Have you done any survey of terrorists?
No, I haven't.
They said in America, according to the FBI and the CIA, 94% of the terrorism that takes place in the United States is by people who are far right, people who are non-Muslims, yes, and the minority is by the Muslims. Which Muslim countries? Name your Muslim countries. Okay.
Iran, Iraq.
Yeah, who brought the war to them?
Huh?
Who brought the war to them?
Who bought it?
Yes.
asked
Again,
for the
America.
war?
They came all the way from across the ocean to Iraq to bomb them. Yes?
right.
So don't tell me the Muslims.
Yeah. And who bought the weapons?
The Americans. Exactly.
P-O-U-G-H.
Who sold the weapons?
Who wanted them?
S-O-L-D. Who sold them? The weapons. Hello there, you're right?
I'm good.
Who wanted them?
Sorry? The reason the war was brought to Iraq is because they made a false claim that it was Iraq which was responsible for the 9/11. Are you aware of that? So the false, you remember the dodgy dossier?
That was long before.
Yeah. That is how it started, madam.
Started with
The dodgy dossier and the false pretext of war was brought to Iraq. The Iraqi people, they knew finally that the Iraqi people had got nothing to do with the 9/11. Yes?
She was spoken by God.
Yes, and it was them who said that this false pretext is what started the war in Iraq. So don't tell me that, okay? The Shah was in power by whom? Let's see if you know the history.
Yeah, the Shah was in power.
By whom?
The Americans.
Exactly my point. Thank you very much.
Right?
So you see, it goes back to America at the end. By the way, I'm not saying all Americans are warmongers. There are many Americans in America who are sincere people who have nothing to do with the war. I'm blaming the government mostly because it is them who produced these weapons of mass destruction, who made false pretexts that the Iraqis has the WMD, who bombed them without any proof, and then they claim these were the people responsible for the 9/11, and then finally we realized all that was false. Now you see, if false allegations can drag a country like Iraq to war and be responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people, are those people held accountable?
They could be.
But are they?
No, they're not.
Whose responsibility it is to bring them to account?
Your people
And not yours?
and our people.
Finally. You see, I had to prompt her to say that.
Yes.
This shows the injustice that we have seen so far, that they think it is our problem when America comes and bombs a country, a sovereign country like Iraq, and then says it is our duty to bring them to account. Why is it not the responsibility of the Western countries and the Eastern countries, all of them in the United Nations, come and bring those people who are responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths in Iraq by the false pretext of war? The day you say this, then I'll say you're a sincere person, but I doubt you'll do that.
No, I agree with you.
Good, alhamdulillah. Finally we agree.
Once again, money talks, both on my side and your side.
What's money got to do with anything? It's all to do with justice. For me, justice is more important than love, than money, than anything you can imagine. The reason for that is whenever there is injustice, yes, that is when all the problems creep in. Yes, when the Palestinian people were taken away from their homeland and they were dumped into refugee camps, that is when the problems occurred in Palestine. Yes, it wasn't before that, it was after that. So whenever you see injustice, when the Palestinian people were made refugees in their own homeland, that is when the problems started to appear there. It wasn't before that.
It was the Jews that were refugees in Palestine.
Really? Jews had their own quarter. What do you mean refugees?
Yes.
Where is the refugee camp in Palestine before the problem happened there?
They
Where?
were not Palestine.
Where is the refugee camp? I'm asking you.
Nobody would take the Jews in 1947, and the English decided to put them in Palestine.
Who gave them the right?
The British and the Americans.
And do you think that is justice?
Nobody else would take them.
So, kick out the Palestinians from their homeland.
No.
Where is the justice there?
the Jews decided to invade the West Bank.
Decided to invade.
That's where it started.
Okay, so my point is that justice or injustice?
It is injustice.
That's what I'm trying to say, madam.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, in fact, we both are agreeing. Maybe we are talking past each other, but the important point I'm trying to establish here is that whenever there is injustice, yes, and that is the reason I was asking this gentleman here, that it is unjust for an innocent man to die for the sins of others. To me, that is not mercy, neither it is justice. To me, justice is where God, who has the ability to forgive and the ability to punish if he wants to. So by his own wisdom, he decides whom to forgive and whom to show his wrath to.
I'm not religious.
You don't need to be religious to establish, to know what is justice. This is something inbuilt in every human for us to recognize the injustice. So when an innocent man is killed for your crime, would you consider that as injustice? Good. If a man who has committed the crime and is killed, then is that justice?
If an innocent man
Is killed for his crime.
Are we talking about the Son of God being killed?
No, anyone. Anyone. He dies because of his crimes. In fact, if he murders someone and he's given the capital punishment, like in certain countries like the United States where they have the electric chair, even though I disagree with that form of punishment, they do have in many nations. Sorry, many states in the United States still have it.
Only Mississippi.
Is that in America?
In America.
That's all I'm saying. If there are things in America to this day which cause great harm, in order for this, even if though he's a criminal, it puts them through excruciating pain before they're killed.
Any type of death is excruciating pain.
Well, I beg to differ on that, because there are certain deaths like the guillotine during the French.
So you're leading up to the death on the guillotine is
No, I'm saying that form. Wait. That form of death is instantaneous, yes, and it is something that was even applicable. You know, this very place, Speaker's Corner, they used to have the last rights to say something before they were actually either hanged just down there, yes, or killed some other form. But what I'm saying is that today we have desensitized ourselves because of the environment that we live in, where they say that capital punishments are no longer applicable. They'll be given life sentence in the prison, which normally means 20 years, and then you go free. So even though you might have committed, multiple murders, or you might have been a serial rapist, yes, you still go free after a few years spending prison time. And we have noticed that these serial killers and these serial rapists commit the sins again. Repeat the crime again. So who really is being punished? The society or this criminal? If you ask me, it is the criminals. The society who's being punished.
In this country, we don't have capital punishment.
Yeah, in the last 100 years, I think.
Okay? They used, at the time with the electric chair, they considered that humane. Right now, they started to give the lethal injection.
You think that's humane?
And now they say it's not humane.
Yeah. Do you think the lethal injections are humane?
There's no way to die peacefully.
But the whole idea is not so that they die peacefully, is that they are punished for the crimes they committed. Either it be... Hold on. Do you think it was fair for the person that they killed unjustly? So the murderer who's going through this capital punishment, either through electric chair or lethal injection or the guillotine or the hanging, yes, do you think it was fair for that criminal to kill or to take the life of someone innocent? Now, how shall we establish justice?
An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Oh, good. So you are in agreement basically with the Old Testament laws, and also the Sharia in a way preaches that. Yes. However, what I'm saying is that there are many people who do get away from their crimes. There are drug dealers, there are politicians who get away with lots of murders. Yes, and that is what I was talking to you earlier about. How do we bring these people to justice? Because these are powerful people who cannot be brought to justice by you and me. Yes? Neither the society. So they need a powerful court. A court like maybe the court in Geneva or the court in, maybe something in the United Nations where they can come up with something to hold people accountable for for waging a war that is based on false pretexts. And that is what is responsible for the illegal killing, unjust murders, unjust killing of and suffering of the humans, women and children. Yes? You know, there was this politician in the United States, Albright Bright or something like that, I forgot her name. But basically what she said, that she was asked this question, is it okay, is it just for all these women and children to die, or these children to die, thousands of them, because there was a sanction against Iraq where they couldn't give them even medicine. So there's a lot of, what I'm saying is there was a lot of deaths because of this, and this senator, yes, she said it was okay. That it is okay that these people died, these children died through these sanctions. It is something that was justified. Now this is the kind of world that we live in today, unfortunately. Yes.
No senator who wants to.
But this is exactly what she said. That's what she said. Go and look her up if you don't believe me. I forget the name. It's.
The name you can Google it right now.
Sure, no problem.
Just Google. Let me Google it.
Okay, go on. Let me Google it.
I'll tell you what to put in.
Was it Madeleine Albright?
No.
No? What was the name?
I don't know. Just Google which U.S. senator.
Which U.S. senator?
Yeah, just put that in.
Okay. I think Bernie Sanders is all right. Are you American? Okay. What do you want me to put in? Which
U.S. senator?
Which U.S.
Which U.S. senator?
It's not Albright.
Madeleine Albright, yeah? Yeah, that was her. I thought so.
All right.
So it was Madeleine Albright. You heard of her, right? You heard about her. Do you remember this particular statement where she made? Where she said it's okay to, the killing was justified, the killing of women and children.
They put in Madeleine Albright. Killing of children's speech.
So are you aware of this speech?
No, I know.
You're not?
Stuff.
Okay. Oh yeah, it is. So this is the New York Times, 27 July 2003. Just one second. Let me bring up that quote. Yeah, 2003. It's after the 9/11. Remember they had the sanctions after that.
That's right.
I mean, this is a well-known statement that trying to look for that particular speech. But anyway, like I said, it's a well-known speech that she made.
I've never heard of it, something like that.
Secretary of State. She was the Secretary of State that time. Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright. I think this is a very hard choice, but the price, we think the price is worth it. Now this...
Wait.
Yeah, sure. Wait. So anyway, the important point I was trying to establish is that injustice is something that we should not tolerate, neither oppression, and these are the key principles for any civilized society. Yeah, sure. All of this is something, in fact, you don't even have to be religious to acknowledge that injustice is something that should not be tolerated, that should not be linked to anyone who considers themselves to be...
Sanctions or
No, look, sanctions, I'm not saying all sanctions are wrong. There are sanctions, no, there are certain sanctions which do bring in results rather than bombing them to death, which was the earlier statement, it is okay to bomb them. If you put sanctions, then sometimes it works in a way which is peaceful, if it is considered like instead of the other option, which is to bomb them. Yes, but there are certain sanctions, for example, there are certain sanctions in which there should be some leeway, like for example, they shouldn't sanction medicines and basic necessities like food and water for the people, because that is something which is...
How do you get the attention of the presidents and the dictatorships?
By not killing the people for a start. Okay? Because if they are doing the killing, if someone like Saddam Hussein is killing his own people, yes, that doesn't mean that a civilized country like the United States or any other Europeans go and do the same thing, because two wrongs do not make a right.
You do realize once they got rid of him is when the ship was found.
Say again?
You do realize that once they got rid of Saddam Hussein,
yeah,
that is when the country really went to pot, right?
Actually, the country has fallen apart even now, long after Saddam Hussein died. Yes? Look at the state. In fact, there are many Iraqis who would want him back. Yes, why is that? Because they felt that even though there was injustice in their country, yes?
He kept them in line.
Yeah, not only kept them in line, but basically there wasn't this mass, injustice happening around in the country. There wasn't chaos. There wasn't civil war. There was some sort of order. Even though we don't agree with it, that doesn't mean we should bomb a country into democracy. Yes, let the people decide what they want.
But it all has to do with oil. It's not about...
Of course, the oil is important as well. Because, you know, when there was injustice in Rwanda, the United States and the Allies didn't go and save the people, because there wasn't any oil over there. But there was a lot of injustice happening there at that time. However, when it happened in the Middle East, they're very quick.
How do you think so many Africans ended up here after Idi Amin?
There was injustice that time, I totally agree. During the time of Idi Amin, there was a lot of injustice. I'm not saying no, but I don't think most of the Africans which ended up here because of Idi Amin, yes, many might have migrated here, yes.
They weren't migrated,
yeah.
Had to take them in,
yes.
Killing them all.
Yes. Look, there are many things.
And who took him? Saudi Arabia.
Do you think I agree with that? Taking an oppressor and giving them sanctuary is something that even this country did during time of Pol Pot. You know Pol Pot? He was given sanctuary by this